Hello, everyone. Like I've introduced myself earlier, my name is Whitney. As I grew up in a church where I wasn't necessarily preached the Bible. I lived with my parents at that time, but sadly, when I was younger, my parents were divorced. I moved around a lot with my mother and my siblings. I moved from home to home, place to place, and from family member's house to family member's house. Eventually, I ended up living with my aunt and my uncle in a place in Hebron, Indiana. We attended a local church in that area where I was able to hear the gospel for the first time and I was able to get saved. I was about 13 years old then. Sadly, I still continued to move around a lot after that, still home to home, place to place. I started going to church less and less and eventually even got away from church. I slipped into the world and I got into some bad things. I made some bad decisions in my life. But despite those bad decisions in my life, God was faithful to me. When I was working my job at McDonald's, I was about 18 years old. A couple of Hiles-Anderson college students invited me to come to their college for chapel. I came that first time, and I remember thinking to myself, hearing preaching is good for me, so I decided to come back often after that. I started visiting the college often and even started coming to First Baptist Church. I visited the bus ministry and things like that. All the while, God was working in my heart. He made some major changes in my life concerning modesty, music, wrong ideals, worldly philosophies, things like that. In the spring of 2020, God called me to come to Hiles-Anderson as a student after doing that major work in my life. I knew that God had called me, but I had doubts. What about the fact that I didn't grow up in a Christian home like the rest of them? What about finances? What about the fact that I don't talk like them? There's so many things that I wondered. I even got bad counsel and almost didn't end up coming, but in July of 2020, a couple months before I was supposed to come to college, I was in a car accident that left my vehicle totaled. That accident brought me to the place where I had to choose. Am I going to trust God with my life and go to Hiles-Anderson as He's asked me to? Or am I going to do what I want to do with my life? I chose to trust God, and I've been at Hiles-Anderson since the fall of 2020. And I've been so happy that I made that decision. God's been good in my life. But if it weren't for the example of those Hiles-Anderson students I worked with, I may have never come that first time, or even been where I am today. So now I ask you, where is your next step leading you, and who is following in your footsteps?
As we walk each day along life's road, a set of footprints marks where we have been. The ones who come behind will see our steps. Toil